Hi, this is Nancy with On Point TV, and this is the second half of that painting on fabric video that I showed you. Here's some of the pieces that you'll see done during this video. And it's going to be a quick one. It's only about 8 minutes long. The stamps I'm using are from joggles.com. All the information is below. And this is the second half, so I've done kind of a stained glass one. So if you haven't seen that video, go back. And these are the ones that I felt needed more done to them. So the first ones I'm showing you are the ones that I thought, you know what, they came out great, they're done, they're finished. This set is the set that I just felt they just weren't enough. So they needed a little bit more to them. I'm going to use the foams stamps from joggles.com. Some of my favorite ones, you'll see them come up. And so these are the two I'm going to start with. So what I'm doing here is on the piece on the left, you'll see that that was really kind of faded. It was, you know, just a little bit light for me. And I can look at it and I see, all right, there's some pink and some purple. And so I decided to add some additional pink and purple to it. So this was, I think this stamp is one of Elizabeth St. Hilier's stamps that are at Joggles. I think it was like chain link. I really love that one. And then this one has kind of these spokes. And I love this piece. And the problem I have sometimes, and not just painting, but in lots of things that I do, I don't know when to stop. So I looked at this. Oh, let me talk about the one on the right. So that I decided to take a yellow piece that was already a base piece of yellow and put it over top to pick up the purple and the pink. I should have stopped. I should have stopped right then and there. For some reason, I decided to add orange to it. Go figure, don't know what I was thinking. Love this stamp. Love the little polka dots, but I really, in the end, wish I had just stuck with what I had right there. So I am using the Delusions Paints, as I most often do, and my 2-inch brayer at this point. And I do love working with 2 gel presses. The more I do, for a long time I was just using one and everything seemed to be fine. I just am able to get so much done, and I love being able to leave one sat there while I'm working on another one. And as you can see, I set the one that I'm going to stamp on top of the one that is actually soaking up the paint right now. And I love giving it that extra time to soak up, and having that little bit of cushion underneath does help the stamps actually stamp better when I take time. So again, I didn't like the orange dots, so I thought, oh, what else do I add to it? So, like, you know, it's at some point Nancy needs to learn to just stop and go, okay, it's good enough. So I pull out the one with the spokes and just keep adding to it. And in the end, I like the piece, but to me, it does look like an overdone lady. It's just got too much makeup on it. It's okay, you know, when I cut it up and use it in a quilt, it'll be just fine. But it is what it is. You know, someday I'll learn how to just stop. So now I'm just going to spread that extra purple paint out and then make just a solid base. So those solid bases are what I then do other things on top of. And the pink and the purple, I thought that came up pretty well with the yellow base in the background. But again, I look at it and go, what else can I add to it? So I look kind of at that yellow-orange base that was below the pink and purple, and I decide to do a stamping. I had to clean off my brayer, though. I'd had that really dark stuff on it. So I cleaned off my brayer, picked up the stamp, again, the one with the spokes, and just added a little bit of orange. I don't think I went overboard this time. I think I do like it this time, but turned out okay. Not one of my favorites, but turned out okay. So now I'm kind of waiting for the one on the left to dry, and I pull out this other piece. Now I liked this one, but I did think it needed something else, and if I recall correctly, I do like this one. So I'm going to add a little bit of orange and a little bit of the yellow to it. Oh, yes, I do love this one. You know why I end up loving this one? Because I'm using the Blossom stamp. This is by far, hands down, my favorite stamp to use. I actually have 2 of them at this point because I use them so often. You'll see me use it a couple of different times later in this video too, and the ones that I do later I really, really love. So I love this one that it just pulled out a little bit more orange by adding that stamp to it. And then on the other side, I'm going to pick up what was left over from the Blossom stamp And you'll see I am using an extra piece of fabric on top because sometimes the paint, I'm just putting too much on, typical me. This time I'm looking at that and I'm going, all right, that blue, I'm going to add something with that blue. I think this one turns out okay. Again, not one of my favorites. It's got a lot of texture to it because I use this a bigger stamp. So this one's a bigger, chunkier kind of a stamp, so really gives you a good impression. I'm going to kind of fill that out all over, and I think I do like this because I really love that swirl pattern underneath that is created by one of the Joggle stencils. It is by far one of my favorite stencils. It seems like I always get such really cool designs from it. So with this, I'm just going to keep adding that blue, and it does turn out nice. I think I do end up liking this one. So that one, I come to the edges, do a little bit on the edges. Be sure you fill in your edges. You don't want the stamps to look too cookie cutter-ish like you did them all in a row. So do I pick up that orange one yet? Or do I? Okay, so here's just another. So this would have been like when I picked up the extra paint. So I had the leftover green. Again, just using the stamps. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually creating on the left an impression. So I'm really going to leave the impression of the stamp there and then put the yellow one down. So then the yellow will be behind the blue. So sometimes I'm using it just to pick up the paint, and sometimes I'm actually creating a design with the stamp on the top. So let's see. I think I've got two pieces of fabric. Yep. So that one comes out, and I think I like the way that one comes up. Okay. These two are my favorites. Because I use black. I love using black as like that final accent. It's not for everything. You have to have things that don't have the black in it. But look at this. Ta-da! Do I love that stamp or do I love that stamp? So I just stamp with my, that blossom stamp over something that was an okay print to begin with. But something about adding that to it. And, every time I take my fabric someplace to sell them, the ones that are stamped with blossom always seem to be the first to go. I'm not the only one that loves that blossom stamp. And this piece was like a scrappy, it had all those different colors on it, and I did it as a pickup print. And now with the blossom on it, I actually, just FYI, have already used this piece of fabric in a quilt. Partly because it had blossom and because I needed something with the dark. So I had like a variety of things there. So I used the dark part of it. And now I'm going to just fill in that entire gel press and make the impressions with the blossom stamp. And then I'll bring a solid base, I'll pick up solid base to it to lay it down. I don't think I show you what that one looks like in the end, but I think that in the end credits will have that. Oh, that kind of rainbowy kind of one. And I thought that turned out pretty good too. So now you get to see all the ones that I, came up with. This one, it's okay. Not totally thrilled with it. So I want to add more to it, but I'll do that later. Love that one. So these are what I came out with. And honestly, 15, 16 minutes of work. And I got all of these different prints, that one being my favorite. So I hope you enjoyed these little quick videos. I'm going to try and do these a little bit more often because I can do them by myself. And so I don't have to wait for somebody else to be off of work. So I like doing these. So if you enjoyed these, please hit the like button. Hope you've already subscribed to my channel. Do have a lot of quilting videos out there too, and some of them using these fabrics. The information for purchasing any of the paints and stencils in the gel press are below. I get those all from joggles.com. So if you use the links below, I get a little bit of commission too. So it makes it possible for me to keep doing what I'm doing. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.